go ahead and call our special meeting of the Costa Mesa Sanitary District Board of Directors to order. The first item on the agenda is public comments, and we're asking the public who wants to comment on the item, any item on the agenda. Seeing no one from the public, I'll close that portion and we'll move to item 2.
Jim's back there.
David, you have something? I didn't see a card. I'm sorry. Would you like to speak under comments, Mr. Mosier? Please.
I'm not sure. I have the feeling I've missed about half the meetings on this. At the ones I've attended, I'm still a little uncertain about the motivation or reason why the district needs a new headquarters, since it's not time to expand geographically or substantially in services. So I may have some other comment after I hear the rest of the discussion, but at the moment I don't.
Okay, very good. All right, item 2 then, consideration regarding the purchase. I think it's more than a consideration now.
Yes, Mr. President, if the board is mine, I'll go through the presentation again because now we have members of the public and Director Fairman's here, so we can show the presentation again. If that's okay with the board.
I'm sure everybody else is here.
Yeah. Okay, go right ahead. Good idea. Thank you. So, yes, thank you, Molly. Get the light for me. So the building we're talking about is 290 Polarino Avenue, which is right here. This is Red Hill, and this is Polarino. This is the Time Warner building, if you're familiar with the area. This is a little closer look up. It's 11,000 square feet, 42 parking spaces. This is a view down Red Hill. It's got a nice monument sign right here, so clearly people could find us. This is the layout of the building, and primarily let me go back. Really, one of the primary reasons why we're looking for another building is the parking issue. Obviously, today here we are in the rain, and we're parking in the senior center, and we got to walk. All the staff's got to walk in the rain, and we got to walk there during our board meetings to make sure there's adequate parking for the board and for members of the public. So that's really the primary reason why we want to move. We also, again, as I mentioned before, plan for build at one time. That one day you will need a district engineer, you will need an inspector. So you want to have, right now there's no room for any more staff in this building. We also want to move our code enforcement over, including the vehicle. We can't do it in this building. Here we can do that and also free up some space at the yard. So those are some of the reasons why we're considering moving to this location.
I think, Scott, too, just as an adjunct to that, there are some safety issues with this building that we've encountered.
Yes, there are. But primarily the issue is to free up some space at the yard and also the parking spaces. Those are really the primary issues. But this is the layout of the building, and as you see, there's a lot of potential here, a lot of offices. I mean, this is the break room here, conference room here. These are offices along here. I think these are offices here. This is the lobby right here. These are the bathrooms. There's more offices here. There's a large office here with a bathroom here. Office here. This is open area, open area, open area. So some opportunities to create a boardroom as well. There would be obviously some improvements we need to make to this building. Also, we need to install some fire sprinklers. That's a must. We definitely want to do some safety measures, especially in the lobby area. Like we want to put security doors here for staff's protection. So again, it's a nice large lobby area. We'd have to do some modeling of one of the open areas for a boardroom, or can make it into a community room, / or both. I've seen it both. You can make it into kind of like this, board / community room. So there are some renovations that need to be done to the building. This is a picture of one of the conference rooms. This is a smaller conference room. This one is, I think it's this room right here. And then this is the large conference room, which is right here, right there. And that's the break room. Nice big break room for staff. As I mentioned, it's 42 parking stalls, 11,000 square feet, 3 meter rooms, 21 offices. There's enough space to sublease it. If you want to do that, you can sublease it. There's no HOA, so it's a separate building. There's also a separate room for IT, so plenty of room for IT to put our systems in the room. They do have a tenant. and their lease is through April. We're estimating, I think it's $1.50 a square foot. So if we did a 30-day escrow and we occupied the building in February, then there's an additional about almost $50,000 revenues we can generate. However, there's been some revisions, and I'll have Jack go over that. After the owner accepted our proposal, he did counter with some minor adjustments, and I'll have Jack go over that later in a few minutes. As I mentioned, also the restrooms would need to be modified, ADA compliance. Also, the front door would have to be ADA compliant. Also, if we want to make a boardroom, we want to have video. I'm sure you still want to continue doing that. I mentioned the fire sprinklers, the security doors. Also, a security fence, as I mentioned, maybe towards the back here. Maybe back here, we could put a fence along this way, nice decorative fence here, and that way we can secure some equipment, most notably like the code enforcement vehicle, where the vehicle will be charged when he's not working. You definitely want it secured, so that's one option. We want to do that. So the total price was $3,750,000, which is about $341 a square foot. And if you do some comps in the area, this is all within the vicinity of the building, and you can tell what the asking price is really close to the comps. I mean, you have some that are less, and you have some that are more. But what you'll notice, the big difference in these comps, these are all condos. What we're getting is a separate building, which is a big difference. No HOA, nothing like that. Like all these buildings have HOAs. We won't have that, which is a nice perk. That's about it. I've answered your questions.
Has it had a roof inspection?
No, we haven't. We will do that during the escrow. We'll have an inspection of the building, and we'll get a report on the roof condition.
How old a building is it?
1979. Right before this one was built.
Does it have another ingress egress point if we were to lease part of it out for access for the tenant?
We would probably have to make some modifications to the building to do that.
I thought there was one on
There's one exit
north end.
door. There's one exit door right of the lobby, but it could be an ingress door.
Right.
It could be for that right side of the building. Because I thought if we did open it up for public use, that they could enter there and exit there. The only problem would be just the restroom.
Yeah.
So that'd be thought of that.
So do we have any indication or any estimate as to what all the ADA crap and
No, nothing like that. No.
Jack said the sprinkler system is like $3 a square foot, so it'd be like $30,000 roughly.
I'd love to hear what Jack has to say.
Well, one more quick question. We put this generator in out here. Are we taking that?
That is a requirement of the city, that if we leave this building, we have to take the generator with us, but it's a good selling point also. Maybe if whoever resells it, they might want that generator there, so it's something we can negotiate, I'm sure.
Well, we'll need one at this building.
Yes, that or maybe we can just use the portable generator. We can still modify the building for a generator connection, and maybe we just use a portable generator
We
instead.
can keep one on the site also, portable generator.
I don't know if we can do that. Probably wouldn't want to do that because I think then it is a permanent generator to keep it on the site. If that's what you want to do, then I would just recommend do a permanent generator. So
Why did the city say you can't take it?
that was just that was just one of the requirements they had. That we took up a parking stall here
Yes.
to put that generator there, and they were okay with it because it's for emergency purposes. This is our EOC, and that's what we said it's for, to make sure our computers are working, our EOC is up, and that was so that okay, that's fine. But under conditions, if once you vacate, you leave that because I think they're assuming that once we leave, it's not going to be a public agency offering this building. It's going to be a private entity, and why would they need a generator?
But why would they tell you that though?
I think it must have been part of the condition.
It was one of the conditions, yeah.
Because we did take the parking spot away. Now, if it becomes a private building, they have different regulations for parking, don't they, Jen? Oh, private businesses have different parking regulations?
I don't know if they have it for private or not, but that was one of the conditions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you can store generators there.
As long as they're on wheels, not permanently hooked up.
I think that's the definition.
probably
of
right.
We could look at, we
That's
could
what
look
I was
into
thinking.
it.
Because if we're gonna have a yard there that's gonna house the car, it could house the generator.
Sure.
Instead of it being the city yard.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
But
Yeah, we could look into it. Yeah.
obviously, we gotta consider all these improvements in the price too, and, you know, I don't know what that'll work out to, but it's gonna be on the real high end, from what it looks like to me, which,
I don't think, I think of all the buildings we looked at, this is probably one of the fewest renovations we have to do. Remember the one in Briosa? I mean, that one was a lot of improvements we have to do. I think this, yeah, there'll be some improvements, but again, of all the buildings we look at, this was probably the fewest modifications.
I think, I think I agree with this guy. I mean, it's in good shape. I mean, I'm surprised it was built in '79. I thought it would be later than that. I agree with Jim though, we need to take a look at the roof, but overall, I think it had the best look about it than all the buildings. Right?
There'll be a whole bunch of due diligence we'll want to do, including
right.
checking with the city, make sure the zoning is appropriate. Right? You assume that since it's office, it would also fit public institution, but there's always a chance the city could say, oh, no, that's private office, so we have something different.
Jack, you have some things to enlighten us on?
As far as the terms of the deal, is that what you want to discuss?
Scott said you had some.
Yeah, do you want?
In terms of the deal, we'll discuss in closed session.
We'll do that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is the time to find out about the building and about our ability to afford it, and those kinds of discussions that need to be done in public.
Okay. Talking about affordability. Yeah. Mark got all dressed up for us today to give us that report.
You exude credibility, my man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely affordable. As we had talked about the last meeting, the way we would end up doing it would be through a lease purchase through CSDA Finance Corp. Depending upon how long the escrow goes, that process can start. Typically it runs about 90 days to get funding. They've done it quicker than that. If the process to get funding through CSDA Finance Corp takes longer, we have enough cash to be able to purchase the building for cash. What we would probably end up doing is, because the direction had moved away from the building for a little while we were working on other things, our liquid cash has gone down. So in order to be able to fund it right up front, we probably have to sell an investment. We just be very careful as to which one we would end up, which one we'd end up selling to make sure we're not taking a big hit on it. Market moved last week, so some of our investments that were above water might have slipped a little bit underwater. We do have $568,000 in facilities revolving fund. My recommendation would be, just as when we purchased this building, that we use all the funds related to that. It's an allowable purpose for the capacity charges, and that we use that as funds to be able to acquire the building, and then the rest would be spread. My recommendation, I have not talked to Scott about this, I have not talked to Wendy about this, but my recommendation would be that it's actually get purchased through the asset replacement fund, and then it gets leased, it gets rented back out to the solid waste fund and the wastewater fund. And that way, that gives you flexibility, one, that you don't have an exact asset sitting in each of those funds that you're going to have to be depreciating each year, and you're not locked into how much rent you're going to be charging those funds. It gives the district flexibility to be able to, as the organization changes over time, you can charge different rents to the funds with the asset being held in the replacement fund, just like all the other district's assets are. Right now, your vehicles and things like that are held in.
How long can you depreciate it? Is it a time like 30 years or 20 years?
Yeah, we would look at what we felt the useful life was going to be and establish that. Typically for a building, it runs about 40 years.
How many? 40?
40.
So that's how you come in with your depreciation in the asset management.
Right, exactly. We would calculate what depreciation would be. We would calculate what maintenance might be, everything to operate the building, and then calculate a charge back out to all the funds that are receiving benefit in whatever proportion is determined that they're receiving benefit. That calculation probably would be done each year at budget time.
and it would be amortized for 20 years, or would you have the lease?
The lease would be a CSDA Finance Corp has two options. You can go 10 or 20 years. My recommendation would be 20. If we're going to be, the building's going to be of use for 40 years, you would want to have your constituents using it as, paying for it as over as long a period as we could, since we're going to be depreciating it over the 40 years. So I would recommend the 20. CSDA Finance Corp can go longer, but then you get into bonds, and we don't want to do that. By keeping the structure as a lease purchase, there's no voter approval that's required. There's no other special types of approvals that have to happen to be able to enter into that type of transaction, just as if you were going to lease another piece of equipment.
Other questions from Mark?
So $2.5 million at 20 years, do you have a number on that?
At the base fee, and we would have to, not counting the improvements, but at the base fee at 20 years, last time we had reached out to CSD Finance Corp, they said that interest rates on their leases were ranging from 3.5% to 5%, depending upon the financial stability of the agency that was issuing. And so your annual lease payments would range on the low end from $445,000 to $479,000 at the 3.75 years.
That's
For what amount?
That's for 20 years.
For 3 or 4 million?
3.75 million.
So if we sell this building and use the revolving funds, I mean, our indebtedness would be about $2.5 million.
If that's the way that you want it to go. Now, the decision point at that would be using all that cash. If you use your existing cash, you're having your constituents that contributed to the district in previous years pay for a benefit in future years. That'd be the only thing you'd want to think about. Do you want to take that cash that you accumulated for other purposes to use for the building, or do you want to spread that out on a go-forward basis for future use?
So $2.5 million would be roughly 2/3 of what that number you quoted would be. In the ballpark.
Yes, that's correct.
Is the existing tenant, when does their lease expire?
They're up at the end of April.
Are they occupying the entire building?
Right. We've already started the process of finding a building, so my guess is they'll move out on time.
They've got space at their manufacturing plant for some, but
Well, we would probably want them to stay there for, I don't know how long, well, you said 90 days maybe. I guess that can be worked out there, life and death.
And that's just to be able to have all the funding available directly from CSDA Finance Corp. Once we get to about the February time frame, our next set of call dates hit and on our investments, and to the extent that if the same process follows where the agencies are going to call those investments, we're going to have money coming back to us that we wouldn't need to sell investments come February timeframe if they call. With the move in the market going up, that remains to be seen if they're going to call those investments back. But we still have some investments that are trading at rates that are pretty high. Yeah. And even with a quarter point bump in the Fed funds rate, I don't think that they would let those investments stay out there because they can place the money out at a little bit lower rate.
Okay. Roger, did you have anything to contribute?
Yeah, this weird discussion I had before.
Comments?
Maybe we can hear
Public can hear you.
Hang on just a second.
First,
Hang on just a second. We're going to mic you up.
First comment I wanted to make, I don't know at the current headquarters how much in-person traffic the district has. So as to location, for me, I think it would be about equal, but obviously it's not the most central location or most convenient for a majority of your ratepayers. They're expecting a lot of in-person traffic. They'll find a new location probably less convenient than this and less convenient than other central locations. The second comment I want to make about the potential for subleasing the building with its 42 spaces and 21 offices, I wonder if we could clarify in its current configuration, at its peak occupancy, how much does the current building, how many offices do we need and how many parking spaces here? So as to give an idea of how much excess there would be at the new one. And then third comment is your district council mentioned about the zoning of the building. And I assume the current building, the district pays no property tax on it. So I'm wondering, in the new zoning and with the potential of subleasing, if there's any possibility that the district will be incurring a property tax liability that it doesn't currently have. And then the final thing, the treasurer's report, I maybe missed that, but I assume in the discussion of affordability, you're assuming some proceeds from the sale of the current building. And I'm wondering what the order of magnitude of that is going into that calculation. Thank you.
Can you answer those, Scott? Let's start with the first one, the traffic.
What would you know? How heavy is the traffic? I mean, we get people here every day.
For permits and.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And mostly it's the plumbers. A lot of plumbers are coming in, so they're talking. They're not really citizens. I get a lot of plumbers coming here, but we do get people coming and getting their organic buckets, for slab permits. But as far as how many, half a dozen a day, maybe?
Well, I'll just make a comment about parking, especially. I've had people say to me, you know, they'll question our board on issues and things that we're doing, and I'll say, well, come to a board meeting, well, there's no place to park. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say to me, you know, you've got a crowded room, there's no place to sit in your room, there's no parking, this is going to enhance that, and that's not a earth-shaking part of this, but I think if we get a building that's more accessible, people might be more reticent to coming to meetings.
Yeah. So I can tell you what, during the day, when everyone's here, everyone's in this building, there's only maybe 2 parking spaces available out there for the public. That's it.
I think that's an issue.
Well, you know, I just wanted to comment too on the part of our constituents finding the location and accessibility. And I think it's great because all you're doing is going down Bristol to Red Hill, and you're right on the corner near Paulina. It's actually very easy compared to all this lights and traffic here and the craziness of trying to find a place. And you got the parking there. And Time Warner building is right next to it, so I don't even see a zoning problem.
I don't, it's meant a tax, we wouldn't be paying any property tax.
No,
we
there would
wouldn't,
be
but
no
there would be no
property
property
tax on
tax.
the new building, and this
Right.
one would stay tax exempt until we sold it.
Right.
And if we
Yeah.
put a lessee here, then it would only be the possessory interest that would be taxed.
But if we sublease the new
If
building.
we subleased it, they could tax the lease.
Okay.
That was a good question. Did we address all of Mr. Mosher's concerns?
If not, we'll certainly get back to
The
them.
last one was what we expect to generate in proceeds from the sale of this building that
Okay.
is sold.
About $1 million, we're hoping? About $1 million? 1 million?
Thank you.
Or more, I
Yeah.
guess, but Jim knows the market better than I do.
Building.
I think a little bit more than that.
I would think
Yeah.
more than.
I'd like to see about 4 6-story residences there. You cut them down the street.
You
they
never
can put 'em
know.
right
Yeah,
there.
just tear this building down, put some new
With
buildings in.
roof
You never
lawns,
know.
right?
Even more than that. And there'd be room for the trash.
Mr. Mosher, did we address all your concerns? Did we miss any?
I did ask how many offices we currently in this building use, how much unused office space do you anticipate in the new building?
Let me see, I got 1, 2, 3,
It's all full.
6. There's 8 offices here. 1 office is shared by two staff members. And then we would occupy another probably 9, 10 offices in the other building, so we have all those other offices available,
How many offices total, Willie?
about 20.
Okay, now those offices or those cubicles?
No, those are offices.
Are they?
Offices,
Because you
yeah.
have those series of like.
Yeah, no, I wasn't counting the cubicles.
You're not counting them?
Well,
No.
that's right. Now we've taken the break room here and made an office because we're so desperate for an office.
Yeah. And then the related part of that is with 42 spaces, and that amount of use by the district, how much unused parking there would be if we sublease it.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on,
Subleasing it, I
it depends who we subleased it to and what kind of business.
There's 2 of them.
It's,
I didn't say it quite correctly. Before you subleased it, how much how much free parking?
Oh my gosh, well, like I said, there's 40 parking spaces now, and there's
Yes.
11 people here, so there's at least, 20, 25 spaces.
And we might use 6 for,
Or 6 or more for the back
Storage.
storage.
Yeah.
So that you
Yeah.
probably
Right,
use
right.
15 or something.
More than half, the 42.
Both parking and building itself.
Yes.
We have 16 here, don't we?
Yes, so yeah,
And then I assume your closed session, you're just going to be talking about the price
the terms,
Yeah.
yes.
and terms, which you don't want to disclose, so there's no need to stay around. This is going to be announced.
Only if you'd like to stay in out of the rain.
Thank you very much.
Is the location closer for you? Did you could go down the red?
Yes.
That same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I sometimes go to the airport.
Okay. That'd
Thank
be
you for
easier-
coming,
easier.
though.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming, we really do.
Yeah, really, thank you.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, that's right. Happy holidays.
Okay. At this point, I think we need to adjourn to a closed session regarding conference of real property negotiators on the 290 Colorado Avenue. Reconvene us back to open session and report that we have given direction to our negotiators on the purchase of the building at 290 Colorado Vista Mesa. Any other comments or any other items? Okay.
So, you want me to hold this until you, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Today, you think?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. yeah.
Okay, awesome.
You've got his contact information.
It's on the contract, but I'll give you a call.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no other business, then I will adjourn us. Wish everyone a happy holiday, which is day after tomorrow or something. 2 days. And thank you all for your attendance.